afternoon to everyone. My name is Kriti Shroff, and I'm a leading career counselor, and I co-founded the organization Careers with Kriti back in 2015. Today, here we are with our special webinar called Career Discovery, where we will be inviting 10 different industry professionals, and each of our following videos will be talking about one industry and one career with a leading professional from that space. So we bring to you more knowledge and more content with the help of industry. I'd like to invite my first panelist for today, which is Miss Munmun Gareriwal. I'll just pin her to the screen as well. Hi, Munmun Didi. Thank you so much for joining in. And to give an introduction, a lot of you must be knowing she's a best-selling author and an award-winning nutritionist and a celebrated lifestyle consultant based in Mumbai. Over the last 20 years, she has worked as nutrition and exercise consultant with diverse set of clients from all walks of life across the globe. Her clientele includes Tapsi Pannu, Rakul Preet Kaur, Lady Superstar Nayantara, Ekta Kapoor, and many more. Her book, Yukt Ahar, The Belly and the Brain Diet, is a chart topper. It is the #1 best-selling book on Amazon and in many categories, and has been consistently maintaining the same ever since the book opened the doors. The foreword of the book has been written by her client, Tapsi Pannu. Yuktahar was also featured amongst the books that motivate you to live well by the Hindu. Winner of the award for the best nutritionist by Femina, Munmun is the only gut microbiome specialist in the world who combines traditional Indian foods, ancient Indian yogic practices, and Ayurvedic principles with gut microbiota study to understand and fight obesity and other diseases. She has a master's degree in nutrition science and is an internationally certified fitness instructor and a yoga teacher following the Shivananda lineage of yogic traditions. Munmun has also been studying Advaita Vedanta, propounded by Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji for a few years now. And it's my true delight and honor to welcome her. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a true pleasure and honor. I'm sure this session will go in a long way in motivating and inspiring the youth of today and making them understand the kind of careers they can chart out. So my first question to you, Munmati, is growing up, most of our generation would have never taken this career into nutrition, lifestyle, fitness consulting very seriously. Right. However, today, nutrition counseling has gained a lot of momentum in the last few years. So what do you say? What are the trends in this career for students who may want to start their journey in this arena now?
Yeah. So yeah, of course, when I started, studying nutrition and working also as a nutritionist, because I started working pretty early when I was just 19 years. So I obviously started, as a part-time job because I was still studying at that time. So nobody knew about nutrition. Gyms were like, the state-of-the-art gyms had just started coming up in cities. So people were not even aware of what fitness is. They used to not even think that this is a science. So a lot has definitely changed. But having said that, what I still feel is that, even today, I don't see a household jahan pe, माँ बाप बोलते हैं कि अच्छा बच्चा बड़े होके nutritionist बनना. We still don't have that. Or we don't have अच्छा बड़े होके fitness के line में जाना. We still want our kids to become engineers and IAS officers and doctors and, stuff like that. So although it has gained momentum, what I still believe is that, people who maybe after a while in their life feel that they want to do something and they are like, कि चलो बहुत लोग nutritionist बन रहे हैं, हम लोग भी बन जाते हैं. I still feel it's, somewhere in that line. It is still not taken seriously where, a parent could put in an effort that, okay, you sit for this exam, you prepare for this. It's not like that, how we usually do, like even a CA or any other career. So that is one thing. The other part of your question was about the trends in the industry. So the trends, of course, there are many things that are trending right now. So gut health is like one of the biggest things right now, the microbiome, the science of microbiome. It is something that has actually been on research since the last 30 years, but it's just that in the last 5 to 6 years, more and more people are, coming out and talking about it. Having said that, there's a lot of myths and there's a lot of misconceptions because, again, as I said, the problem with nutrition is that, people who become nutritionists, most of them, they become nutritionists in a very lighter sense of it. They don't want to deeply get involved with the subject. Therefore, we don't have nutritionists who really get into the subject matter, who really try to find out what the research is saying and then bring out facts. Because of which there are lots of myths and misconceptions when it comes to food, when it comes to fitness, exercise, yoga, and all of these things. But yes, it is trending. Mental health, as we all know. So again, it's connected to your well-being. As I say, well-being, it's more of a holistic health now, which is again trending. So people just don't want to focus on weight loss or a zero size or six packs. They want an overall wellness, and they're looking for coaches who can provide them a more holistic point of view when it comes to their well-being. Grandma's wisdom is again coming back. As we know, we hear about turmeric latte, and we um, is this somebody has said your voice is breaking, so is it me or is it Kriti's voice?
I can hear you very well, Murmudi.
Okay.
And I think somebody sent you a direct message. So I can hear you well. You can go ahead.
Okay, great. So yeah, grandma's wisdom is back. So we know everything that is ancient is coming back. So if fasting was always ancient, so we now have a version of it called intermittent fasting. So of course these are distorted versions, but yes, grandma's wisdom is back. Whether it's yoga, whether it's ancient recipes, traditional recipes, whether it's turmeric ghee, all of these things. And also what is also what a lot of clients are looking for is recognizing cultures, recognizing customs, ethnicities. So you don't want just to be told that eat oats for breakfast. You want to be told that if there's a festival in my house, then what do I do? I mean, I don't want to prepare oats, or for that matter, I might not just want to eat oats because it's Diwali. So recognizing those cultures, those ethnicities, those customs is something which is on the top of the client's list. And lastly, it's no longer about your nutritionist being a teacher or a dictator who will just instruct you ki ye kha lo, ye kha lo, ye kha lo. It's more about coaching. It's more about being involved. It's more about hand holding and walking through. It's more like a partnership, a partnership in the journey of health, than being like a teacher student relationship. So yeah, these are, I would say, the things that are quite trending.
Superb. I think you raised a very valid point, Munmundi, here that there are a lot of people who may not have initially thought of getting into this career. And just by doing some small certifications, accreditations, they get into a career like this. And hence, sometimes, people don't even take nutritionists very seriously because they think that there is no entry barrier. So for students who are probably aiming to become a proper qualified nutrition, what are the kind of skill sets or formal education that you recommend them to embark on, since we are interacting to most of the students who are in school right now?
Who are?
Who are in school right now.
Oh, okay. So I'll divide it into three heads. First is academic, second I would say counseling, and the third I would say the commercial aspect. So I will divide it into three heads. When we talk about skills, you need everything so that you become a successful person in this particular field. So let's talk about academics. If you are still in school and if you're really you recognize that I have a passion for this subject, then you should go for science. You should have an 11-12 science. You should do a BSc in nutrition. You should do an MSc in nutrition. and you can become a nutritionist. Um, the reason why I say is because if you've already decided, if you have a passion for this, then coming from a science background really helps. Because at the end of the day, you're dealing with human health, you're dealing with human bodies. And though we have a lot of these online certifications these days, where people in their 30s and 40s who are from commerce or arts background also get into this line, it's fair. I'm not saying that they should be barred, but somewhere, people who come from a science background do have an edge. So that is the number one thing. The second thing is whether you have done your master's or bachelor's in this nutrition, or whether you've just done a 1 month old certification or a 1 year old certification for that matter. Self-study is highly important. I was studying this 20 years back and I still study this today. So there is no end to learning, because nutrition is an evolving science. I mean, there's always something new that is evolving, and it's crucial that you stay up to date with whatever is happening. And this study cannot be through, a magazine, or it cannot be through Instagram or through WhatsApp. This study has to be through research articles. So you have to be in certain organizations, you have to know what is happening in the West, you have to know what the research is saying, you have to know what they're researching, what the facts are coming. So you really, really have to stay up to date. Secondly, if you're also a person who would like to merge this with older ancient Indian traditional sciences, then also it's almost like an ocean of knowledge. There is no end to how much you can learn when it comes to any kind of Indian traditional medicine, whether it's Ayurveda, or whether it's yoga, or whether it's any of the other alternative healing systems. So there also, it always makes sense that you go on reading, you go on studying. So that, I think, is highly important. The second thing is, as I said, the counseling part. When we come to counseling, we have to understand that communication skills is highly important here. You may know the world, you may know everything about your subject, but you have to understand that your clients do not, they may be a banker, a person may be a housewife, a person may just be 10th pass, or a person may be anybody from any walk of your life, any walk of life. And therefore, it becomes important that you're able to translate that knowledge into very, very simple language that is easily understood by your client. Now, it's like, easier said than done. It requires a lot of practice, and that is why experience counts. So communication skills is important. Uh, it's important that you stay your ground, you hold your ground when you are speaking to the clients. Be very professional. If in case there is any kind of, any kind of misunderstanding that is coming up, whether it's in terms of appointments or whether in terms of scheduling sessions and so on and so forth. But it's also important that you do not get aggressive, but be assertive. So a lot of times I keep, training my girls in my team that, you have to say what you have to say, but you have to say it in a very assertive tone. You cannot be impolite. So these are, simple things that you learn once you start working. And lastly, as I said, the third aspect is the commercial, because at the end, it's a career and you want to make money out of it. So everything is important. जो भी दूसरे careers में होता है, like there would be some PR involved, there would be social media, whatever is trending in social media, you like it or you don't like it, you have to, follow it, because, one of my very senior teacher had once said that, things will keep changing. Like earlier, we just had probably articles in PR, but now we have podcasts. So things will keep changing, and you will have to keep saying the same thing through different mediums according to what is happening in the current world. So that is how, you stay, relevant to the generation. Otherwise, you become irrelevant to the generation. That is how you see actors also. So Akshay Kumar, who has been working for the last 30 years, they're still making reels today. They're still doing different ways of promotion according to what is in trend. So you have to do all of those stuff so that you get your, message across to the world.
Superb. I think these are some brilliant points that you share, and especially two things that I really would like to reiterate with what you mentioned. One is adaptability. We need to adapt to how how things are moving. And you were right that in the yesteryears, just being knowledgeable and being able to speak to your clients would be sufficient. But today, you need to adapt to making reels. You need to adapt to making podcast. So many ways you need to become relevant. And the second thing, which very strongly you mentioned, and which I agree is applicable to any career that a child makes today, is the ability to unlearn and relearn,
Exactly.
because things are changing at such a fast pace that in whichever career, I mean, last year also I spoke to 10 professionals, and this was absolutely the common theme across. And today, when we are beginning the session again, after one other year, this is again coming back, that it's very important that we are getting into a habit of continuous learning and upgradation, because things will keep coming to us, and we can't just say that, oh, I have finished medicine, I have finished nutrition, I've become an engineer, I've become an architect, whatever, and now I know it all, and I'll be able to survive for the next 50 years, because in the next 2 years a new technology will come and wipe you off. So that's very important. Thank you for sharing these two key points, and they were brilliant. My next question to you is, what is a typical day in a career like yours, and especially when you are working with so many celebrities? I'm sure students and parents will be enchanted to know that how's the typical day spanning across, like
Is my typical day or generally a typical day in this career?
both.
Okay, so a typical day in a career would really largely depend on where the person is practicing, right? A person may be practicing in a hospital or in a gym or in some physiotherapy rehabilitation center. A person, now we have so many health apps. So the concept of the apps is where you cater to the masses, because in an app you don't give personalized and very customized stuff, but you cater to the masses. So when you do that, the approach is completely different versus where you make very customized, personalized one-on-one plans, which is kind of premium. So it depends largely on a lot of factors. So depending on a lot of things, I think the day would vary. A person would start the day in a hospital or in a gym, or sitting in front of a screen, or maybe doing physical meetings in the office. That would largely depend on how the person's setup is there. And there's a lot of variability, at least in this career, for a person to kind of explore a lot of options. My typical days, I wake up early, and I start my day with meditation, then I work out, then I have my prayers, getting ready for the office. So 9 a.m. my office starts, and I like to walk the talk. I like to practice what you preach, because otherwise, people will start seeing you through. So my office timings are 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's not, so when I reach my office building, it's a commercial building with many real estate offices and stuff. They all open at 11 a.m. It's Mumbai. So, there's no office that opens here at 9. So, my office is the first to open in the building, simply because I want to retire early in the evening. I don't want to, continue working till 9 p.m. because then this is what I don't want my clients also to do. So I cannot be, not walking the talk. So it's 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the office. And in the office, it's consultations. We do online, Zoom, FaceTime. We have physical meetings. There are interviews like what I'm doing right now. So basically a mix of a lot of things. Maybe someday I'm writing an article. I've also started working on my second book. So a part of the day goes in writing few pages of the new book. So yeah.
But wow, and we wish you all the best for your next book. May it have as much success as your first one. My last question to you, Munmundi, and then I'll open the questions to the audience, is there are students who ask us that, ma'am, is career mein, how much can we earn? What is the kind of growth and opportunity in this career? So I would want you to share the insight, and you've clearly mentioned that the paths can be very different. You could be working with a commercialized app where it's more of a mass market product, whereas something which could be very premium, where you're doing a personal consultation. But just to give a wearable understanding to students, because when they're embarking on the career journey, they're also looking at the commercial aspect of it. So, what kind of remuneration or job opportunities or career prospects they can look at?
Yeah, I know that's one of the most important things, because of course when it's a career you want to earn money out of it. But as I said, there are people who charge 500 rupees for a session, and there are people who charge money in six figures for a single session. So it's really that vast. uh, it sounds very philosophical, but I'll stand my ground, because this is how I started. As I said, when I started, nobody knew nutrition at all. So money was not in my mind, because nobody knew nutrition. When I used to go back to my hometown, because I was doing all this, my education was in Pune, and I come from a city in Assam. So when I used to go to my hometown, people used to ask, "Acha, kya kar rahe ho?" But they used to feel that I'm just wasting my dad's money and wasting my time, because people used to feel ki matlab ye padhne kaun jata hai, So obviously, what I'm trying to say is that I had no idea at that time how will I grow, monetary, or what is my future at that time. But what I really invested in was creating a niche for myself. I never joined the rat race, or I never joined the crowd. In terms of the things that I speak, in terms of the things I practice, there are many things that I say very, very opposite to what the general perception, or the general view, or what even other nutritionists would say. But I know that I don't want to join the race just because others are saying it. I will not say a fact. I will not say something which is not a fact. So what I'm trying to say is that what is more important is that you really first recognize whether you have a passion for this subject or not. If you are getting into it only for money or fame, or because you have been told that you have a great body so you can become a nutritionist or a fitness instructor, then please don't get into it, because it's hard work.
Correct.
It is hard work like any other business or any other career would have. If you want to become successful, it is hard work. It's just not happening because you look pretty, or because you feel कि इसमें बहुत पैसा है, glamour है. None of it is true. It is hard work. So if you have a passion for it, then ultimately you will always try to get deep into the subject and create a niche for yourself, something that only you can give to the public, something that the public can relate. Okay, if this is this, then your brand gets associated with that concept. That if this is the concept, then this is the brand. This is how your brand gets a name. And once you become that, then honestly, you can demand any kind of money in this field.
I think that was very well said, and I think my favorite line always to students is that Three Idiots में आमिर खान ने जो बोला है is absolutely right. That don't run after money, run after the competence. That is very important. If you are competent in what you're doing, money, success, fame, all of it will automatically come to you.
Because then you demand, you say, this is my fee, and you become irreplaceable, honestly, right? So there's nobody else who's giving who's giving the clients what you can give. So the clients would definitely come back to you and give you whatever you demand. But then obviously you have to live up to their expectations. You have to serve them well. You have to, as I said, that is why I said it is hard work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Munmundi. And I would like to just have any questions if there are from the audience. We would like to just take that for the next 2 minutes before we get on to our next segment with our next speaker. So, students, this is your one-time, lifetime opportunity to speak to Ms. Munmun Ganeriwal, who's been consulting various celebrities. So, if you have any questions regarding careers related to lifestyle consulting, fitness consulting, nutrition consulting, this is your opportunity to ask those questions. Okay, so there's a question that has come to me in my direct chat box, Munwandi. And the question is that if we want to get into fitness coaching, what are the kind of certificates or programs that we should ideally take up?
So with fitness, we don't have any kind of institutes. Like with nutrition, you will have colleges in Delhi, Pune, Bombay who give BSc, MSc. But when it comes to fitness, we don't have. We have that for yoga. So for yoga, you have institutes where you can do a MSc in yoga. So a diploma in yoga. For yoga, we have very good institutes in India. But if you're talking about strength training, cardio, marathon, all of those kind of fitness, then we don't have any kind of a particular institute. But there are many good international certifications. ACSM is it's called the gold standard. It's called the mother of all certifications. It's not very easy to crack. It requires a lot of study because there's a lot of scientific concepts involved. The second to ACSM, I would say, is ACE, which is American Council on Exercise, ACE, ACE. ESA is also pretty good, ISSA. So these are good ones. NSC is also good. So these are good certifications. You can get a certification and then you can start working. With fitness, I would say the most extremely important thing is experience. So you get a certificate and you start working with clients. The more clients you will have, you will gain practical experience, and then you can go on building up your practice.
Great. There's another question that I think that must have come from a parent. Says how tough it is to determine different nutrition plans for different body types, keeping in mind different people's tastes and preferences.
No, it is not tough. I mean, this is what the whole job is, to prepare plans. But as I said, the plans have to be prepared. It has to be, sound academically. Basically, if the person has come to you to see that the diabetes is in check, you have to make a plan so that he gets those results. So that will come only when you make a plan that kinds of takes care of his sugar levels. The second is you have to empathize that the client is a human, it's not a machine. So the client will have ups and downs, the client will have bad days, good days, the client will have the client will be motivated, not motivated some days, the client will have festivals, Diwali ka halwa and all of those things. So you will have to keep many things in mind, and that is why experience counts. That is why I said communication skills are important. There are many times where you have to keep your science on the backside only to win the client's trust. That, okay, I understand you. Okay, I know what you're saying. I know what you're going through. So that the client feels that you are empathizing, that the client feels that you understand him. And then the second day, when you give him any scientific funda, the client will be more than welcoming to accept it, because the client has kind of found you trustworthy, or the client has found a kind of a friend in you. You never become a friend with a client. It's you're friendly, and friends are different. You never become a friend with a client, but you can always be friendly.
Yeah, true. Thank you, Munmundi. Thank you. That was really an insightful